Phara, let's talk about the lawsuits. There was pretty quick action with the number of plaintiffs to sue Robinhood. What were the allegations that were brought in those lawsuits?
Yes, there are a series of class action suits that were filed almost immediately. First, alleging breach of contract, meaning that because Robinhood wasn't fulfilling trades, that they were breaching their contract to their users. And then there were also claims related to restrictions on buying, where people were suing, saying that they were prevented from the ability to make money because they couldn't buy from Robinhood. And we saw already in February of 2021, a judge in California denied the temporary restraining order that plaintiffs were seeking, whereby they were asking that Robinhood not be allowed to restrict trading. And the judge quickly denied that request because there really isn't any precedent or any reason why they would say that Robinhood cannot restrict trading if there's a legitimate purpose to doing that. Particularly where you have a broad user agreement that allows Robinhood to restrict trading at any time. And as Ken had discussed, there were legitimate reasons for the trading restrictions, including capital requirements and clearinghouse deposits. So they were certainly within their range. And to restrict buying is really very difficult to tie into an actual loss. The fact that you were prevented from buying something, the idea that that could lead to a direct loss that would hold up as a securities claim doesn't have a lot of weight to it.
Interesting. So is this an example of those dense user agreements that many people don't read actually having some legal import?
I think any time you have to sign an agreement, it has import. And I think that this is certainly a key term in terms of what your trading platform, the fact that it can restrict your trading at any time for any reason is a key term. The idea that you cannot buy or sell on this particular platform, first, there was no reason why they couldn't buy or sell on a different platform, even while there were restrictions on Robinhood. So theoretically, they weren't prevented from trading. They just were prevented from trading on Robinhood for a fixed period of time while Robinhood was dealing with its capital requirements. And second, there have been a lot of other lawsuits about things like this on trading platforms and even against NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange when trading's been suspended for periods of time. And it's just, this is not an issue without precedent. It's a case like this, I think, is pretty weak. And that's what the California judge's denial of the temporary restraining order is previewing.
Is it just a matter of not having the evidence to back up these claims?
Well, it's not a breach of contract if the contract is the user agreement, and the user agreement clearly sets forth that the trading platform was within its rights to suspend trading. Here you have a legitimate reason why they suspended trading, so there wasn't some nefarious purpose from everything that we know. Unless they can show some intentional fraud, there's really not a case, and there's no evidence of that.
Right, and just to add, the idea that there was some conspiracy between Citadel and Robinhood, has been debunked by Ken Griffin. I mean, but that would be a scenario where there probably would be some liability. But he's in very specific and forward terms has denied that there was any of that. And the follow-up question is, if we ask every employee at Citadel, will they give the same answer? And he said yes.
Well, I'm sure there will be discovery about that. The February 2021 Senate hearings or congressional hearings made clear that there's not a lot there. I think Ken Griffin was very convincing and emphatic in his statement.
Well, let's talk about some of the claims that were being made in the lawsuits. I imagine the case for having lost money on potentially earning money would be a challenging one. How would that work?
Well, there'd have to be some kind of evidence, I guess, if you're trying to demonstrate that loss that you had a plan in place and that you were trying to buy more shares at the time that you were restricted in doing that. Very speculative. That'd be a very difficult scenario, I think, to advance. I mean, just in terms of losses, putting aside the other liability concerns, somebody being restricted in selling would be a much easier situation, and I don't believe that there were restrictions in selling.
The other side of it, though, the restrictions on buying do affect the ability to sell. I mean, the fact that you have fewer buyers or people who can't buy means it's going to affect the price. But I think there's so much volatility in the market at this time that it would be very difficult to show a direct causation between the Robinhood restrictions and any loss of, especially a loss of expected profit.
The market for GameStop was in complete upheaval at this point in time. Just going into the trade in January, I think the short interest in GameStop was 140% of the float, which is just insane. I mean, there used to be some limitations in shorting where you'd have to borrow the shares, and just the way things clear, with a delay in having to have them deposited, and the synthetic shorts that in a crazy leveraged way result from buying call options, just create it overwhelmed Robinhood. It overwhelmed the system, and Phara's right when she says that when buying became restricted. I mean, the short interest just was able to push the price down, because that's just how it works. It's supply and demand. You take away, if you have two equal forces and they're fighting over a resistance point, and then you take away the resistance, that's what happens.